Turning to the border now, where thousands of migrants, mostly from Haiti, are coming to a shelter in Del Rio, Texas. KHOU 11 is there today along the Rio Grande River, where migrants are crossing. The White House condemning a border guard's use of a whip-like cord against those migrants, saying they've opened an investigation. The Homeland Security Secretary says he's horrified by what he's seeing.
Any mistreatment or abuse of a migrant is unacceptable, is against Border Patrol policy, training, and our department's values.
And we have live team coverage on the border in Del Rio and from the nation's capital. We're starting in Southwest Texas with Adam Bennett. And Adam, the governor spoke from the border this afternoon. What was his message?
Reka, the governor told us that about 8,600 migrants remain camped out beneath the International Bridge. That's just about a half a mile beyond the border wall behind me. Now, that's down from about 16,000 migrants at the peak over this past weekend. At the governor's press conference, he was joined by the heads of Texas DPS, the Texas Military Department, and also the head of the Border Patrol Union. He's told reporters that the state has provided $3 billion to address this challenge on the border. In fact, they were just steps away from the dam in the Rio Grande where thousands of those migrants had been crossing for the last several days. Today, there was nobody, just clothes, belongings, and trash on the Texas riverbank, and then on the Mexican side, men cleaning up. Governor Abbott blasted the Biden administration's policies, and he called for more federal resources. He said state resources will stay in this area, and he'll continue providing them until things get, in his words, under total control.
They have created a steel barrier preventing people from being able to cross the border. One day there were countless people coming across the border. Then that very same day, the Texas Department of Public Safety put up all of these DPS vehicles, and suddenly, in an instant, people stopped crossing the border in this location.
Back in Austin, though, some Texas House Democrats are urging compassion for these migrants. They say they have a right to ask for asylum. And they also told me that it's not the state's job to enforce immigration laws. Now, the mayor of Del Rio told me that migrants have been flown out of Del Rio to other cities, especially Harlingen, and then on to their country of origin, again, in many cases, Haiti. He also said that the International Bridge continues to be closed. He doesn't know when it will reopen at this point. Reka?
Complicated situation at the border. Adam Bennett live in Del Rio, Texas. Thanks, Adam.
And our team coverage also continues in Washington, D.C. with Natalie Brand. So, Natalie, how is the Biden administration now responding to Governor Abbott's concerns about the border?
Well, Jason, the president was asked about this earlier this afternoon as he was leaving the UN. He is now back here at the White House, and he gave a very short response saying, "We will get it under control." Meanwhile, over on Capitol Hill, the Secretary of Homeland Security was facing some very direct questions from lawmakers across both sides of the aisle about the situation at the southern border. And he said that they have a plan that they are trying to execute, and that he acknowledged that they need to do more, Jason.
And we're seeing that the president is also getting pressure from his own party as well. Right now, we want to share the response from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on the Senate floor this morning.
I urge President Biden and Secretary Mayorkas to immediately put a stop to these expulsions and to end this Title 42 policy at our southern border. That we cannot continue these hateful and xenophobic Trump policies that disregard our refugee laws.
So after hearing that, Natalie, what is this Title 42 policy, and why is the president using it?
Well, Jason, that's a health rule that was actually put in place by the Trump administration during the pandemic by the CDC, which essentially allows DHS to immediately expel, send back most of the migrants based on this health rule. And the Biden administration continues to use the policy despite pushback from Democratic lawmakers saying that in light of COVID, which continues continues to be a concern, and a record number of apprehensions over the last year, that they need to continue to use this, and that we've heard time and time again DHS reiterate the message that the border is not currently open, and that's something that the Secretary also noted this week, saying that he believes migrants, these Haitian migrants, are hearing misinformation right now from smugglers that the border is open. He says that is not currently the case, Jason.
All right, Natalie Brand live in Washington, D.C. We appreciate you being with us. Thanks. To stay updated now, you can find all the latest information plus first-hand accounts from the border on KHOU.com.